Hello race fans, welcome back to Garden Canyon Run. This is the Spring Classic. We're ready for a new tournament on a new track. This is Brock Wheeler. I'm going to be bringing all the action today. Yeah, I gotta say, if it was up to me, I wouldn't be running this today. The track is dangerous, but we have some stock cars here, which especially concerns me. But we're going to be starting our 30-some cars here through qualification, going from the lightest to the heaviest. So we got all the stockers up front. Stockers going to be earning double points to try to keep things even in the tournament. Let's take a look at the track, just to get right to it. And you can see what I'm talking about. There's 8 checkpoints along the track that you can see as we go along here. You can see the track is heavily held together by tape, painter's tape. We are heavily indebted to the painter's tape industry. Hopefully there won't be a shortage anytime soon, or the track would completely fall apart here, I think. But just a reminder, the track is still under construction. That's part of the reasons why I hesitate on the safety here. I'm not really sure the drivers know what they're getting into in this today, but we're going to find out. Here's the old section of track that we've connected up to here, and we'll see if these cars can maintain momentum enough to get down onto the finish straight. And here's that section of finish straight here where there's no sidewall barriers and the cars can just run freely in any direction they want. The straight cars will be rewarded with those last couple of points that they can earn there. And let's get right to it. Let's get to some racing action here, folks. Here's the first car. This is Sawyer driving for Uncle Elvis Racing. Lightest car on the track, and you can see just getting thrown around. As you're going to see as we go on here, the outside lane is not the preferred lane. The inside lane seems to be the preferred lane. As we're going forward here. And you can see here that Sawyer handled that turn 1 real nice on that second run and made it all the way down into Painter's Tape Gully before completely losing steam. Got really thrown around there and ended up upside down. Let's see if we can get Tom, Dick, and Harry out there to take care of him. But he did get some points up on the board. That's a nice looking turn, although he lost a little momentum in that drift. It was a pretty cool looking drift as we headed down to the downhill. And I don't know about going reverse down there. I don't think that's the wisest move. It might have led into part of the trouble down in here into Painter's Tape Gully. But he did earn some points, and a reminder that as a stock car he's getting double points. So he crossed 3 checkpoints, he's getting 6 points on the day. And yeah, it looks like Tom, Dick, and Harry aren't quite ready to start working, it looks like. And I mean, they are volunteers, so there's not really much we can do about it. Next up, we've got Peregrine driving for Richter Scale Racing. This is a matchbox. This is the first matchbox we've ever had at Garden Canyon Run. Pretty excited about that. Now, this is a fast car, but it's very light, and it sits kind of high, and I'm not really sure how that's going to handle on the track. As you can see here, it didn't, on run 1 didn't really handle it that well. And there we got Ron's kicking Tom, Dick, and Harry into action here, getting Peregrine taken care of. Let's see what we can do on run number 2 on the inside lane. And that's a nice looking turn. Downhills, look at, oh, that's unfortunate. Right into where the heavy equipment, that's the Day Late and Dollar Short crew still working on construction here, as you can see. And it looks like Peregrine might have landed up right in the middle of their sight. Did earn some more points, which is good news. Yeah, it looks like we got the crew down there. That's another volunteer crew working hard down there, and they've got Peregrine out of that tricky situation, it looks like, so we can get moving on to the next car. Nice job, guys. All right, the next car up is Julia driving a Twin Mill. She's from Team Second Floor. Twin Mill's a Hot Wheels vintage casting, and it's pretty light. Let's see how it can do here on the track. Yeah, it's pretty lackluster. Easily tipped over there in turn number 1. There is kind of a hidden pothole in turn 1 that's hard to see from the camera 1 angle. But that bit of part of the trouble. Just didn't carry a lot of speed. Let's see what we can do in run number 2. It turns around backwards again, but handles the downhill nicely. Makes it almost all the way to checkpoint 4. Getting turned around in reverse didn't help her. But as of now, she's the leader on the points board. So nice job, Julia. Yeah, not much happened at the finish. Oh, it looks like the camera 3 operator might be starting to fall asleep here. Alright, moving right along, we've got Kristen Fletcher driving for Richter Scale Racing. This is another Matchbox casting, so pretty excited about this as well. Now this car sits pretty high also, not sure how it's going to do on the track here, but this is a beautiful line through turn 1. Oh, and kind of a, looks like camera 1 operator hasn't figured out there's a post there to his left yet. That's a nice line through turn 1. And Kristen Fletcher just gets a little bit out of control coming into the downhill. Actually gets off the track and bounces back on. A brilliant bit of driving. Now that was fantastic. Let's see what we can do in run number 2. On the inside lane, which is the preferred lane for most of the cars here today. And that, yeah, she didn't handle that. She got a little turned out. I think that pothole bitter, I think, is part of the problem right there. So as we move along here, we are going to constantly be doing upgrades to the track as it is under construction. We're going to be tweaking it all along, and the judges have just told me that we are indeed going to have one last qualification run after all the cars have gone through. We're going to have one more run where everyone gets one more chance at earning points. All right, next up here we've got Chubbers. Chubbers is driving a Chrysler 300C tuned, real short little wheelbase, big fat wheels. And got hung up on the fence there, it looks like, after coming through turn 1. So did some points up on the board, skidded a little bit out of control right into the fence, and ended up on his roof. But they've got him, Tom, Dick, and Harry got him straight away, right back on his wheels and ready to go. So let's see what they can do on run number 2. Nice line through turn 1. Oh, that's a horrible crash. Like they just went straight into that barrier before the downhill section, right before checkpoint 2, and just smashed into it. Yeah, that's going to have to get tweaked a little bit, possibly. But oh, that was a horrible crash. But you know, as we've learned all along here in every one of these tournaments, that the 64th scale universe is incredibly resilient, much more than the one-to-one universe that the rest of us all live in here. We could learn some lessons from them, I think. All right, next up we've got Rowan of Uncle Elvis Racing. Now this casting has a nice wheelbase that I think would do well on this track. Got a little hung up there after turn 1 in a really long controlled drift that just lost all his momentum, unfortunately. But let's see how Rowan can do on run number 2. Nice line through turn 1. A little bumpy into the downhill section and does end up on the roof. Earning points though. Almost making it down into Painter's Tape Gully. There's that post again. Let's see if the camera 1 operator is going to learn about that post anytime soon. Looks like Tom, Dick, and Harry weren't able to get down there in time. But here's the next step. We do have Casper driving the Gray Ghost. This is Rust Belt Racing. Now this one, again, this is a little bit of a car that sits a little bit on the high side. As you can see here, it is some fast spinning wheels, however. It's a fast car on the right terrain. This might not be its terrain, however. Let's get it back up into the gate for run number 2 and see how we do on the preferred lane. Looking good. Oh, until the turn under the downhill section. Now, this brings up an important point we haven't covered. There is an open water hazard right underneath the drop with a giant rock and a crevasse, I think would be the proper word, that the Gray Ghost is almost lodged into there. We'll see if we can't get Casper out of that situation. Looks like we've got Harry down there dropping a chain down so we can lift the car back up. But Gray Ghost, this might not be your track. I'm not really sure. Now this car, however, driven by Kira, Power Pistons up from Team Second Floor, this car looks well suited to the track. This is the heaviest car so far in this group. This is the final car of the group. Nice looking run down into Painter's Tape Gully, where it just got a little bit sideways toward the end, but look how it handles turn 1 really nicely. The transition into the downhill section, beautiful. Catching a little air and keeping it well under control. Kira doing a great job. And might I add, this is the first doggo to drive on Garden Canyon Run. couldn't quite cross the checkpoint, fourth checkpoint, however. And the camera 3 operator's finally fallen asleep at the finish line, it looks like. Alright, let's see how Kira can do in run number 2. Another nice line through turn 1. Little getting into a drift coming into the downhill section on turn 2, so wasn't able to capitalize on the points earned in run number 1. But good job anyway, keeping it under control. And that does that brings us to the end of group number 1. Right there, that was a lot of fun. You're looking at your leaders so far on the points board, and remember, this is just the stock cars that have gone so far. I do think we're going to be seeing some better action from the heavier modified cars when they come up, who will not be earning double points. This is the way the points look right now. Remember, the stock cars are getting double points. And anyways, thanks to all our sponsors, thanks to the drivers for your courage and bravery today on the track. Thanks all of you for watching, and if you've subscribed to the channel, we really appreciate it. Stay tuned, we're going to have some more racing coming up in a few days with group number 2 coming along. Really appreciate it. So thanks a lot, this is Brock Wheeler, it's been fun, we'll see you next time.